Today, I wanted to talk about another executive functioning skill that a lot of people have, and that is they could start the task, which we talked about in my last video, but they have a hard time finishing the task. Do you have a child, or do you know someone who's like starting a task and then never finishes it? Yes, it is an executive functioning skill, and it's mostly related to ADHD. People's attention span and their focus, it's not that they can't focus, it's that their focus gets, twisted and turned a bunch of different ways. And there could be different reasons for that. One is you get distracted by something and then go down that rabbit hole. One thing could be that you just get bored with it. One thing could be that you get stuck with it. So depending on the reasons for the detour, could be different reasons about how you need to go about fixing it. So I always say that behavior is communication, and behavior is showing that there is a need not being met. And sometimes you got to figure out how to come back to complete the actual task. But in my case, I needed to figure out how I didn't have to finish everything. Because I've always had in my brain, you got to finish what you start. But actually, that's not always true either. So, I have a friend, and I love this friend so much, but she can be very, very scatterbrained. Like, she'll start the load of laundry, or she'll try to start the load of laundry, and she's like looking for the detergent. Okay, this is just an example, not legit, but like very legit to her. And she can't find the detergent, so she's like, crap, I gotta go to the store, run to the store real quick, buy that detergent, and come home to do the laundry, right? So then she goes to the store and she gets the laundry detergent, but then she's like, you know what, while I'm here, might as well pick up dinner. So she goes and shops for dinner, and then she comes back home and she's unloading the groceries, and then she sees, the mail sitting on the counter. So she's like, oh, I really need to go through this mail. So she starts going through the mail. And then after the mail, it's like, oh, it's time for to cook dinner. She's going from one task to another. Maybe the email, she pulls out an email as a bill. Oh, I need to pay that bill. So then she goes to pay that bill. While she's paying the bill, she's like, oh, I need to check my email because I'm supposed to be hearing back from somebody. Let me check that real quick. Right? On and on and on, the rabbit hole can continue down, and her distraction tends to go in that direction, and before you know it, dinner hasn't been cooked until 10 o'clock at night, and then you're like, starving, what happened to dinner? Anyway, yes, then she never gets the laundry done. So I don't know if you've had a friend like that, know somebody like that, or you might be that person. I have a couple of strategies that I'm going to have at the end of this video that is kind of a artist way to demonstrate some things that you can do to help that. But I wanted to also tell you my own story, because you could be like me and you think that you have to finish everything, but actually you don't have to finish everything, okay? So here's my side quest of my own story. I've always thought that when I start something, I have to finish it. If I'm going to start one of these paintings, by golly, I'm finishing it, and I want to finish right then. I've learned to try to break my art into chunks and do okay, I'm just doing the background today, and then tomorrow I'll do a little layer, and then the next day I'll do another little layer, right? And do it kind of in layers. I'm working on that skill because it's very hard for me. I want to go and do it and get it all completed at one time and be done with it. But art is not always like that because it takes time to dry and think about what you're going to do next and different things like that. Anyway, it was not until I joined a book club about 3 years ago, and they kept saying D and F, and I was like, they would just throw out the word. They would be like, we'd start talking about the book, and they're like, I D and F to that book, and I'm like, D and F, what the heck is D and F? So I go, D and F, what is D and F? And apparently, it's, you probably already knew this, but it means did not finish. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they didn't finish the book. And every time that I would have book club, I'd be like, I have got to finish that book. Like, I was dedicated. I'm gonna finish this book. I don't care how much I hate this book, but I am gonna finish it. But I realized that they would get through the book some, and they would realize, like, I don't like this book. I can't finish this. And so I started to do some of that myself. I would get to the book and I'd start it and I'd be like, I cannot even get through this. So I started to have some DNFs. And so I think that's important for us to consider. There are specific things that must be done, right? Schoolwork has to be done to get your grade. Like, groceries have to be bought so you can have food. You know, clothes have to get cleaned so that you have something to wear. There are certain things that, like, have a process and got to get done. But there's other things like your hobbies and your art and, I don't know, planting flowers or all the, like, not have to kind of things. You can just DNF, right? You can just start something. Like, I wanted to learn how to crochet, so I started to do some crochet, and then I'm like, I don't like this anymore. It's not for me. And so I just quit, and that's okay. Knowing when to quit is very, very important. So, yeah, you just have to know. Decide whether, like, is this something that has to be done, or is this something that I just wanted to do? And if it's not serving you and it's not hurting anybody, don't finish it. You don't have to. You don't have to. I always thought you had to, but you don't. Anyway, let's get to our show and tell of our creative practices. So I have these videos in a library in my playlist. They're short videos. They talk about why you should create this, how you create it, that kind of thing. So the first one is, let's see if I can find it. Where did I? Okay, here it is. Okay, so first of all, this is one of them. And what I did was I split the page into 4 parts, right? I broke down the task, and then I decided one thing that each one of them needed. So I did, you know, circles, and then waves, and then spirals, and then whatever the heck this thing was, right? And I talked about how in order to complete a task, you have to break it down into sections and complete each section one at a time. And that can help you, you know, finish. Now, my next one adds an extra layer to that, and that is this one. So this is the one where what I decided to do was I used a pen, or well, a pencil, and squiggled these lines on there. And then after I squiggled the lines, I put watercolor in it. And then after I did the watercolor, then I did the outline. Then I added in all these little details to it, right? And then I outlined it again on the darker parts to add some detail to it. So yes, I broke it down into steps and steps, but I didn't split it into seeing only this piece, only this piece, only this piece, only this piece. But I did do it in layers. The other thing that I think is really important is, like, sometimes we may get bored with doing something or having the completion. And if you start to think about your wins, okay, like, okay, I I won because my simple step to do the laundry was I gathered all the dirty clothes. That's a win. Then I put them in the washing machine. That's a win. I added the detergent. That's a win. You're bringing it step by step. And when you see and notice yourself winning and getting closer and closer to the finish line, it's going to build that momentum for you to keep going. So a lot of times we forget that we are having those smaller successes by completing those tasks. And that's one of the things that you can do to help yourself complete tasks and figure out the need behind why you're not completing that task, whether that is boredom and you need to add some fun to it, whether that is it became overwhelming and too much and you need to break it down into smaller tasks. Only you can figure that out. So become your own detective and let me know in the comments what is something that you struggle with, and I can make a video on that at some point in time. So until next time, catch you later.